I think an important aspect of life is seeking an optimistic future for yourself. At the worst points in our lives, it's hard to think ahead to even the next week, let alone the next few years. People like to talk about making lifelong plans and having goals and aspirations, but whenever you're not feeling the best, whenever you're feeling depressed, it's really hard to aspire towards anything other than how soon you can get back into bed and curl up in a ball, which is something that I did for years if you collectively look at all the depressive episodes that I've had throughout my life. I like to think that nowadays I'm in a really stable spot. And even whenever I hit like kind of lower points, I have the tools and the environments necessary to kind of pull myself out of those times. And what's cool about that is that I get to be optimistic for the future now. And it's not something that I ever thought was possible. I get to look ahead at things that I'm going to get to work on here pretty soon, and I get to be excited about it. As an example, I got this really cool case for my DJI Osmo Action that allows me to attach a microphone. This is the microphone that I used to use for this channel before I got the pro microphone that I have currently on this camera. So you guys know, this is not a bad quality microphone. I'm going to get to go out tomorrow, and I'm going to get to record several vlogs outside using this amazing camera setup, and I'm super hyped about it. It's something that's really exciting for me to do. We have a fair coming up in the local town area, and with the camera that I'm recording with, I'm going to get to take so many pictures of my girlfriend. I'm going to get to go out with my family another time and take amazing pictures of my grandparents with one of my favorite lenses to shoot with, the 50mm. I'm super hyped about that. I think it's going to be a really fun experience. And I get to be optimistic about that. I have some friends that I'm currently working with, trying to, get in touch with and go hang out with. I get to play volleyball in the next, 9-10 hours, and that's super hype for me. I'm looking at all these things that I'm getting to do, and I'm excited about it, and I'm interested in continuing to push forward with those emotions. And it's things that I just couldn't have imagined at my worst points. I tried to slit my throat in the year 2016. I tried to end my life. And at the time, I didn't really see a future for myself. I had lost so much that I didn't think that there was any recovery from that experience. And throughout the years leading up to the last 2.5, 3 years, I had kept proving myself correct. A year or two even after my attempt, I still wasn't in the best mental state. I was kind of still riding the edge. I was still alive, but I wasn't really living. But recently, especially recently, I've been doing a lot better with that. I'm making plans, and I'm aspiring to being greater than I am now, and I actually see a future 10, 20 years down the line, whereas even a year or two ago, I wouldn't have considered trying to think that far ahead for fear of losing everything. I'd always been disappointed by hoping and having high expectations, and it led me to always feeling like nothing would ever work out. So my mentality back then was just, hey, don't have any expectations, take life as it is. And that's not necessarily a bad mental state to have, but the way that I was using it was wrong. Not having expectations can be a positive thing, making sure that you're accepting people for who they are and the situations as they are. But for me, it was, I knew I was going to be disappointed at every turn, so why even bother having expectations? And that slight shift in mentality has made a huge difference for my happiness and my optimism, my outlook for life going forward. So to kind of sum up the entire point of this video, being optimistic towards the future is a really important aspect of life. If we don't have anything to strive towards and to look forward to, it will be very difficult for us to attain the goals that we seek out, and very difficult for us to find enjoyment in what we're working towards. We as humans aren't built for stagnation. We're always built to keep climbing higher and higher. That's why we're at where we're at today as a species. We kept pushing it and pushing it until we got to where we are now. So if you are going through the throes of depression, you have my sympathies. It's something that I've experienced throughout my entire life, and something that is not easy to get out of. I don't have, your situation in mind. I can't know possibly what you're going through because everyone's situation is unique. And as such, I just hope that when you start going towards the path of healing, you remember these words, that the future can be bright and that you can have high expectations of them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a like. If you want to see more, subscribe, and do not forget to keep it casual.